An atelier course or an atelier course or
Atelier.
okay, atelier. An atelier course is an art workshop where you work with an art master, and they teach you how to draw from life in a realistic style, similar to like Renaissance paintings like Leonardo da Vinci. So you're not drawing from imagination, it's you, the master, and trying to draw what you see. The course was 7 weeks long. We met once a week for 2 hours, drawing from a cast, so not even a real person. I got stuck on the statues because I'm a beginner. It was pretty one-on-one mentorship, which I've been looking for forever, so highly recommend it. I'll talk about that at the end, but first I want to show what I was able to draw. So after 7 weeks, meeting once a week for 2.5 hours or so, I was able to make this. And it's not even done. So that says something. The instructor, she said that it takes around 2 courses or 14 weeks for you to actually, render everything and get it all looking the way that you would expect for it to be finished. So this is about halfway done. So I'm going to be finishing this up in February when we start the next course. But I've learned a lot just in this part 1 already. So I'm going to share what I've learned in part 1, and then sometime in the future, I'll make the part 2 when it's actually all finished. Okay, lesson number 1. This is going to sound obvious, but mark the top and the bottom of the bounds of where you're painting. What do I mean by that? I mean, within your paper, within your canvas, so here I have this square, right? Within that, I marked the top here and the bottom here to say that the very top of my painting and the very bottom of my painting or my drawing are not going to exceed these points, and that lets me kind of have a range to work in. I also marked the halfway point here and then the quarters as well. Why does that matter? Well, you might know that the idealized human proportions are 8 heads tall, or that you should have enough space to have a third eye in between your 2 eyes in perspective, or that the collarbone is 1.5 heads from the top of the head. And you can know all of these different things, right? But until you actually mark it on your paper, until you actually make sure, okay, I'm going to draw something within this space, this bust, this portrait, this figure, whatever it is, it'll kind of give you a headspace to be able to not get stuck and not get floaty or lost and have your proportions be out of whack, but you can already have your bounds kind of set for you before you begin. Very helpful. All right, lesson number 2. This is going to sound obvious again, but if something is darker, it means it's turning away from the light. And this helped me understand line weight and form specifically. So if you look over here, this part of the side of her face is lighter than this part of the side of her face. I haven't even started to shade any of it. There's no shading there. The only shading is the line weight itself. And the reason that this line is darker than this line is because all of this is in cast shadow from her nose and the features. Wild, I know. But then also the same thing applies here. If you look at the back of her bun here, these lines are still also darker than these lines over here. This side over here on the left was the lightest side of the cast, and this side over here was the darkest side because this was in shadow from her bigger hair shape here. And if without having any shading on any of those parts, the only part we really got the shade was the obvious shaded section here, this back half little bun portion that we got to. But even despite that, without having shading anywhere else, you can already see the dimensionality from this transition from here to here. You can already see the form beginning to turn just by that line weight, which I personally thought was pretty neat. And then the third lesson is to go slow. And that's frustrating, especially with everything online is learning about speed and efficiency. For me, who was learning originally about commercial art exclusively, going this slow was difficult, and it still is hard for me now. But it forced me to recognize with the concept that speed comes with time, and you can't force speed. And coincidentally, this, I think, is one of the best things that I've ever drawn, and I would hope so, considering it's the most time I've spent on any particular piece. All right, closing remarks. Do I recommend you take an atelier class? Absolutely, yes. I think that it, honestly, this might be controversial, I think that it's better than art school because you actually have an art mentor. So one, it's cheaper, it's still expensive, but it's cheaper than art school. You have a one-on-one mentor to learn the fundamentals of drawing from life, which is all you really need. You get perspective, you get form, you get light, you get the classic art experience. And then if you want to go be commercial, if you want to go work at a company doing this, there are more than enough resources online to talk about photo bashing, 3D, animation, motion graphics, anything that you could possibly want as far as like the commercial art side of things. But this, the fundamental side of things, that's where you need help. All right, that's going to do it. This is the end of the episode. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I had a kid, so I'm a dad now. That's been fun. And I will be making videos as I learn things here still. The cadence will just be a little bit slower. If you do want more content from me, I'm expecting to be more active over on Instagram because it's a little bit easier to make shorter form content, or even if I'm just drawing things just to post the drawing without having to make a video about it. So Instagram will probably be the the place to find me for more frequent uploads, but I will continue to upload here. All right, thanks for watching. I hope this helped you. I'm focusing right now currently on making finished, like illustrations, actually finished pieces. In the past, I was focused almost exclusively on drills, and because of that, I don't have hardly any like finished pieces or a portfolio to my name. So I want to actually stick through and finish something, many things, and then see what I learned from doing that and actually see where I am, because I haven't actually drawn anything to completion like hardly ever for fear of failure and, you know, getting distracted and other things. But that's a whole nother video. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope it helped you. I hope you're doing well. Sorry it's been a minute, and I will see you all next time.